Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the ultimate B2B matchup in industrial packaging. We're going to compare the highly innovative SIGNO technology, which is patented by Agripak and used to produce packaging from sheets of Cartonplast, a registered trademark of Agripak, right up against the traditional industry standard of flatbed die cutting. If you've ever wondered how early engineering choices in manufacturing literally ripple across a company's finances, its environmental footprint, and its product safety, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to let the hard data tell the story today.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the packaging dilemma, move into greater profits and savings, look at slashing the environmental impact, cover total hygiene and safety, and finally, wrap up with the perfect circular economy. Let's get right into it.
Okay, Section 1, the packaging dilemma, setting the baseline. Now, we aren't dealing in hypotheticals here. Our real-world baseline case study requires producing just over 31.1 million fruit boxes annually. When you're producing at that massive scale, every single gram matters immensely. And this brings us to the core engineering difference between our two manufacturing methods, raw material density. To produce a box that can handle the required loads using traditional flatbed die cutting, you need a corrugated plastic sheet weighing 900 grams per square meter. But if you use Agripak's SIGNO technology, you only need 540 grams per square meter. Now you might be wondering, how in the world is a 40% weight reduction possible without the whole box just collapsing? Well, the secret is in the seal. The SIGNO machine completely seals the perimeter of the box, trapping the ambient air inside the flutes of the sheet. It's kind of like a pressurized tire. That trapped air provides incredible resistance to compression and torsion. You get the exact same structural integrity, but with 40% less plastic.
And just to assure you, the financial data we're about to stack up isn't just theoretical marketing fluff. We're pulling this directly from an official feasibility document that meticulously compares machinery, labor, raw material, and output costs between these two methods. Moving on to Section 2, Profits and Savings, the financial impact. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of the numbers. When you scale a 40% weight reduction across 31.1 million boxes, the compounding savings become the defining factor of a business's entire year. First up, material. By dropping from 900 to 540 grams per square meter, you save over 5.8 million kilograms of polypropylene every year. At an average cost of 1.5 euros per kilo, that is 8.73 million euros kept right in the bank. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Because you're using way less plastic, your extrusion machines don't have to work as hard melting raw material. Factoring in energy savings, you save over 1 million euros in electricity alone. Add it up, and that's a staggering total annual savings of 9.78 million euros.
But any savvy business manager is going to ask, okay, what's the catch? What about the machine costs? Fair point. A traditional machine does operate faster. To match its output of 31.1 million boxes, you'd actually need 3 SIGNO machines. That means buying 2 extra signals up front, costing an additional 3.2 million euros plus extra labor costs. But look at this chart. Even after completely absorbing that 3.2 million euro capital expense and the extra labor in the very first 12 months, the SIGNO setup still delivers a massive year 1 profit advantage of over 6.2 million euros. And after year 1? With the machines paid off, that profit advantage jumps to nearly 9.5 million euros every single year.
All right, Section 3, Environmental Impact, Slashing Carbon Footprint.
Those financial numbers are enough to make any CFO's day. But let's pivot our narrative from greenbacks to green impact. In today's landscape, your carbon footprint is under a microscope. 12,470. That is the massive number of tons of CO2 saved annually by switching to this sealed edge technology. And this happens directly because of what we just covered, significantly less raw material and a massive drop in electricity consumption.
To put that into perspective, because let's be honest, 12,000 tons of an invisible gas is kind of hard to picture, saving 12,470 tons of CO2 is the exact equivalent of canceling 5,700 commercial flights between Milan and New York. Literally. That's the environmental impact of simply deciding to seal the edges of a plastic box. Let's jump to Section 4, Hygiene and Safety, the aseptic shield. Let's shift our focus to the physical product itself. How does the SIGNO technology actually change the Cartonplast packaging? Historically, open flutes at the edges of corrugated plastic allowed moisture in. There's a strict standard called ISO 62 regarding water absorption, which used to be really tough for corrugated plastic to meet. But
The engineering breakthrough of completely sealing those flutes means water literally cannot enter the internal structure anymore.
This creates what is basically an aseptic shield. Think about a traditional fish box or fruit crate. With open edges, dust, bacteria, fish blood, or even insects can easily get trapped right inside those hollow channels. It's unsanitary and super difficult to clean. But with SIGNO's sealed perimeter, nothing penetrates the cavity. It's the perfect solution for food and pharma packaging. Plus, and this is a great bonus, that sealed-in air acts as a fantastic thermal insulator to keep perishables fresh.
And finally, Section 5, Circular Economy, Closing the Loop.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the financial, environmental, and physical benefits tied together into the ultimate loop of sustainability. To get a true circular economy, you have to hit the 3 R's. Step 1. Reduce. Trapping air allows for a 40% reduction in raw plastic right out of the gate. Step 2. Reuse. Because the edges are perfectly sealed against dirt and liquids, these boxes can be easily and thoroughly washed and reused over and over. And Step 3. Recycle. When the box finally hits the shredder, the internal flutes have been protected their whole life. There's no hidden dirt. This yields incredibly pure plastic flakes perfect for re-extrusion. In fact, the SIGNO machine is so efficient, it can perfectly seal sheets made with up to 80% recycled plastic. The loop is totally closed.
So here's the absolute crucial takeaway. We've looked at the data, we've seen how trapping air with a sealed edge drops raw material needs by 40%, generates nearly 9.5 million euros in annual profit advantages, stops thousands of tons of CO2, and creates a perfectly recyclable aseptic shield. It leaves us with one provocative question. In an industrial era that demands both rigorous sustainability and aggressive profitability, can you really afford not to seal the future? Something to think about as you evaluate your next manufacturing setup. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this deep dive sparks some great ideas for your own operations.